Hello and welcome to Blunt Talk on UNreduced TV. I'm your host, CaliOGP, and today I wanted to bring you three things that are going to make you more efficient and help you live unreduced. Now, Blunt Talk, of course, is the show where we talk about all kinds of things under the sun that help you live outside this box, this proverbial box, if you will, and basically break the mindset that you have to live on somebody else's agenda, right? A lot of people don't even know that they're living on somebody else's agenda, and we've got lots of other videos on our website about that. But again, today we just want to talk about efficiency and why this is a little bit important to your life. Now, before I started Unreduced, efficiency was like my main thing, right? Like I was going into businesses, I was going into individuals, and I was really helping them improve their lives and just find processes to make things a little bit easier for themselves. And so today I want to talk about three of those things that I think are unique, that maybe you can implement in your life. It's free game today. So the first one I want to talk about is basically just organization, right? Like organizational skills are very important, but the big organizational skill that I see a lot of people not even like utilizing right now would be emails, right? Now you might have a bunch of different email accounts out there, but you haven't really you know prioritized what each email account does. You just pretty much fill up that email account, and then once it gets too overwhelming, you just leave it alone. You just go start a new one, right? That's what most Americans do. That's what most people do. Well, what I actually recommend to my clients, what I recommend to other people, and I'm recommending to you in this video, is I recommend getting three accounts. Get a business account, get a personal account, and then get yourself something for spam, right? Get yourself something, where you can just send those emails that you don't ever want to see, right? Because you do have to sign up sometimes on those sites, but here's a real world example of why you want to be efficient at this, right? I had a client who I'm trying to get their loan, I'm trying to get their loan approved, right? Because I do mortgages. So if you need a mortgage, give us a call, 619-929-0782. That's Unreduced Mortgage. Okay. But I had a client who's trying to get their loan through, and I'm waiting for them to respond to one of my emails, right? And come to find out, like they just never saw my email, right? Like they couldn't go back and find it because they had got so many emails coming in per minute, per like second throughout the day, that they couldn't find my very important email. This person had told me like this loan would change their life, right? Like we're taking money out, we're paying off credit cards, we're paying off student loans, we're paying off lots of debt, and then like this loan's also gonna like let them improve their house, and like I said, it's just gonna change their life, and they can't find my email. They have no idea where it's at, right? So this inefficiency could cause them to, rates could go up because they change every single day. So it could cause them to miss a rate. Now that's just one example. I'm sure there's thousands of emails out there that are important to people's respective industries and their lives. That's just an example from my life, that I've seen. If you have examples, just put them in the comments below. The second thing that I wanted to, touch base on was it has to do with organization as well. It's got to do with like creating like a portfolio system, right? Like a file system, like a filing system. A lot of people compliment me on my ability to remember certain events and just be able to I guess just remember them, right? Like actually remember the moment, how it's exactly as it occurred, and like the feelings and things that were associated with it, right? And what allows me to do that is I kind of have a filing system in my head, right? And I know everybody can't quite do that, right? So what can you do? Well, something that I actually do that helps the filing system in my head is I actually have a really good computer filing system, right? Like I have a Mac, but everybody has like these cloud servers these days where you can buy, or they even give away for free up to like 15-20 gigs of data. But I've got hundreds of gigs, if not I've got terabytes actually. So lots of data that you're saving, right? For this filing system, you want to have somewhere to put your ideas, somewhere to put your projects, somewhere to put your memories, like things that are important to you. Because if you don't save those, who will? Now, reward example why this is important. My personal situation is, my mom, she passed away about 2 years ago, right? And when she passed away, what else passed with her? Well, pretty much every single thing that she had seen with her eyes, right? Because she, the way her life had gone, she didn't really file things away in an organized manner. Like she became more of a pack rat, right? Like how many people are like pack rats out there and are just like storing a bunch of shit on their computer, and then the computer gets full and they just go buy a new computer and start all over. Well, that's a lot of people. Don't do that. Computers are technology. You got to use that shit to like advance, yourself, and remember where you came from, right? Like you got to be able to go back in and find a project if you have inspiration today, or if you have a memory that you want to talk about and nobody else can remember it. You got to bring it out, right? And you got to go into your filing system and do this. And I actually personally regret not starting my filing system sooner. I started mine probably about 7 years ago. But it was only after I had to change majors in college, and actually I had a computer stolen. I never thought that I would break a computer. That wasn't my thing, but I never expected a computer to get stolen either. I guess I just didn't. That didn't even cross my mind. So if a computer gets stolen, where's your data? Like so. I do advise backing up your data like twice for any memories, again, projects. Anything that you really want to keep, those kind of ideas for a long time, and you think that are important, you wanna immortalize. Create a filing system that can do this for you, right? Like digitally, or you can do it physically too. Like however you have to do it, create a filing system for these important things in your life. Okay. Now the third thing that I want to talk about, and the final thing that I wanted to talk about, is probably like the biggest game changer for most Americans, right? Um, I know that we have a tendency as Americans to like procrastinate and put things off. But whenever I tell my clients about like this kind of phenomenon, this idea, right, they're just blown away. It just they just try it and it makes sense, and they realize like it makes their life so much faster, so much more efficient. So my tip to you is, if there is a task that you have on your plate, right, like it's sitting right in front of you, right. For example, when I wake up in the morning, I normally trash my room at the end of the day, right? So I'm trashing my room at the end of the day. I fall asleep. I smoke a blunt. I fall asleep on the bed or something. Food, whatever. I know I said this is blunt talk. I've got the weed here, but I'm just so passionate about what I'm talking about today. I don't know if I'm not. I'm definitely not gonna smoke. But it's okay. It still is blunt talk. But say I've trashed the room the night before. Well, when I wake up in the morning, it only takes me 5 or 10 minutes to clean up the entire mess, right? But if I don't clean up the entire mess and make my bed to start the day, right, and I go and just hop in the shower and put my clothes on and run out the door, well, when I come back at home at night, well, I've got to first clean up my whole room before I can start a project, right? Like, or before I can go to bed, right? Before I can even have peace of mind, right? Like, it's not necessarily I can't fall asleep or I can't do these things. It's just it's a hindrance to have a clutter around when you're trying to do another activity, right? So that's just one activity you can do, like that's less than 10 minutes. I'm trying to give you real world examples on all of this shit. But that works for every small detail in your life, right? Like if, for example, if you want to send like an email, right? You need to send an important email. Well, sometimes I've had to send an important email, years ago, where I was supposed to send it and then I didn't send it, within the 10 minutes. Like I didn't send it right away, and so because I didn't do it right away, I just forgot about it, or something else caught on my plate, right? And so I missed sending that email out, and then I missed getting paid for that email coming back, right? That's not good. You don't want to do that to yourself. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you're missing opportunities because you have too much clutter going on, or you missed it, or you have to take care of something else, or you just completely forgot about it, right? This is going to be a fourth and final bonus tip, because a lot of people don't know about this, but if I tell you this, you're going to become more efficient just by nature. You're going to understand the way your mind works. In order to put your attention, your focus on something, you have to have what I call attention points. And it's not my definition of this. I didn't come up with this. This is something I read in a book somewhere. But attention points are essentially they're a finite source of energy, if you will, for things that you have to do throughout the day. So when an individual wakes up in the morning, they have a certain number of attention points, right? And scientifically, I think like the research is stated like it's normally like 4 or 5 things that an individual can focus on throughout the day. That's 4 or 5 things total. Now, if you try to add other things in there, that's fine. Those first 4 or 5 things that you think about, and I promise you, if you try this out, those first 4 or 5 things that you think about to start your day, whether it be, man, I gotta get to work really fast. Well, you're gonna be thinking about that all day. You're gonna be thinking about work all day. You're gonna be thinking about, even when you try to go home and unplug, you're not gonna be able to. You're gonna be thinking about work. And that's because you start your day with those attention points. So you gotta start your day thinking about and structuring how you're gonna use your attention points. It's like playing a video game and like creating a character, right? If you put your attributes over here, well, then your character is gonna be deficient over here, right? Well, it's the same thing. If you put your attention points on, say you put your attention points on video gaming, but you have a whole family, right? And you got to feed your family, and you got to get your kids to like soccer practice, and you got to, you got to clean up the house, and you got to mow the grass today because it is Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, whatever day it is this week. And now you got to go out and pick up something from your neighbor too because you promised him you help him do it. So when do you get to the time of video gaming? You don't, but some people I know would put the video game on and completely miss out on an opportunity to take their kid to the park. Don't be that person. Use your attention points wisely and really think about how you're going to structure your day and how you want your day to basically end. If you don't think about it to start your day, you're not going to have the capability to do it later. Another point on the attention points is the reason you won't be able to think about it later in the day is because once you're out of attention points, your subconscious just takes over. That's what happens. I promise you. Test it out. Try it for a week. Try it a day. Try it one day and don't do it the next day. You're not going to be able to unsee you're not going to be able to unsee it. After you go through it and you actually experience what it's like to use your attention points wisely. So those are basically 4 great tips I think that can help you live your life more efficiently. This has been Blunt Talk. I'm CaliOGP, and this is Unreduced TV. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.